What's going on, everybody? It is U-Turn Crobat here, and you are watching U-Turn Central. Now, this is a relatively long battle, so let me just introduce my team. I am bringing my Electros, my Toxicroak, my Excadrill, my Garchomp, my Togekiss, and my Golurk. So let's get right down to it. It's going to be a relatively long battle, so just bear with me, but it is a great battle. And I really hope that you guys will enjoy it as much as I enjoyed battling him. Now, I am battling Lance. He brought a decent team, so he starts off with his Klefki. And so, knowing that Klefkis are, they're a very tricky Pokemon, I just want to start out with my Electros to kind of try and take this thing out with one hit, because I know that it is damaged, if not weak to fire. So I use my Flamethrower, and luckily I get the burn off on him. But the problem is that I'm already running into is that Klefki used the Light Screen or the Reflect. I kind of forget at this point, but he used one of those. So now his team's defense is up. So I can't really take out certain Pokemon with one hit. So he goes onto his Politoed when he gets the Drizzle up, and that's not bad for me because I do have my Toxicroak that I bring in later. But I do switch into my Excadrill because I want to try and maybe get a Rock Slide and an Earthquake up. But at this point, I just kind of want to trick him. So I bring out my Excadrill and I go into my Electros because I'm thinking he was going to use something like something like Focus Blast or something, or Hydro Pump. So I switch into my Electros thinking, trying to predict that, but it didn't really work out too well. But he does bring in his Manectric. Now, I do decide to switch out because I kind of want to take this Manectric out in one hit, because I don't want this Manectric staying around because it can do a pretty sufficient amount of damage to my team. So the Manectric does evolve into Mega Manectric. Now this Mega Manectric, this Mega Man, is his speed is lightning fast. So I needed, well, I mean, I guess it's not lightning fast, but it is pretty fast compared to some of my Pokemon that I have. So he does end up using Hidden Power Ice on my Excadrill. And now, in the past, I have gotten hit with, like, Ice Beams and stuff like that on my Excadrill. And so, knowing that, I figured that the Hidden Power Ice wasn't going to do too much. So he decides to switch out into his Rotom. And I could be wrong, because I don't face Rotoms every single day. I thought this was a Rotom Wash. It could be a Rotom Wash, but like I said, I don't face Rotoms every single day, so I don't really know my types all that well. I'm kind of familiar with Rotom Wash, but anyways, I do hit him with my Rock Slide after the Swords Dance because I kind of want to get some damage off on him because I can't use my Earthquake. He does know Levitate, but he unfortunately takes my Excadrill out with that Hydro Pump. Okay, well, so yeah, it is a Rotom Wash. But he does end up getting the Lefty's Recovery, and I decide to go out into my Electros, because my Electros does know Grass moves, so that's what I was thinking of doing, either that or Electric move. He does burn me, however, with the Will-O-Wisp, and that causes issues for me in the battle later on, as you'll see. Now I do hit him, and I do get him down pretty good. I'm thinking maybe, if I keep doing this, I can try and take him out, but he is a great battler because he does withdraw at some point, but he ends up getting me right now with the Volt Switch. See, that's what I meant when I was saying that he was going to withdraw. He does end up using the Volt Switch and withdraws into another one of his pokes. Now, right now, he goes out into his Ferrothorn, and this Ferrothorn is a huge problem for me. Seeing how he does have the Reflect or the Light Screen up, I forget which one, none of my attacks are going to take him out, really, until they fade. And so, stupid me, I didn't really predict all that well. So, my Giga Drain didn't really do too much on the Ferrothorn. Now, while I do get burned, I'm just kind of thinking I should probably switch out because I want to preserve my Electros. I want to try and keep him later on in the battle in case I need him. So I bring out my Toxicroak, and he does get the Leech Seed off. And I know that my Toxicroak is a beefy frog. And so while he does get the Leech Seed recovery, while draining my health, I'm just thinking, with my moveset, what can I do to kind of try and trick him up here? So he does go into his Politoed, his water Pokemon, which is awesome for me. And the reason why it's awesome is because I have dry skin. And so while I do hit the Drain Punch, I will get the Black Sludge recovery, and I will get the dry skin recovery from the rain, or from the drizzle. But unfortunately for me right now, I am getting that Leech Seed hit, while he does get the HP recovery from said Leech Seed. So while I do hit the Sludge Bomb, I kind of wanted to poison him. Now, I didn't really know which one was going to help me more, the Poison Jab or the Sludge Bomb, but I decided to go for the Sludge Bomb just to kind of see how much damage it was going to do. Now, he does get off the Leech Seed recovery once again, and I go for another Sludge Bomb because I did a pretty good amount of damage, and I am trying to poison this Politoed because I just kind of want to get this thing out of the way. Now, he does go for the Focus Blast and doesn't do too much to me, because like I had mentioned, that my Toxicroak is a beefy frog. And so I do get the Black Sludge and the Dry Skin recovery, while he does get the Leech Seed recovery on his end. And now, at this point, I know that I need to start poisoning this guy, because I need to try and do something. So I go for the Poison Jab, and luckily this time, I do get the poison. So while he is getting hurt by all that poison inside of him, I am getting the HP recovery from the Dry Skin and the Black Sludge. But unfortunately for me, he does get the Leech Seed recovery while I lose my HP. But luckily for me, he does get hit with the poison, and he will continue getting hurt with the poison. So I go for another Poison Jab to get his health lower than it is now. He goes for the Ice Beam, and it doesn't do too much to me. I mean, it does, I guess, a little bit more than what I wanted, but I mean, it's really not that much, so it doesn't really bother me a whole lot. So I do get my HP restored from Black Sludge and from the Dry Skin, I do believe. And while he does get the Leech Seed recovery, I am thinking, you know, I know that he's already poisoned. I know at some point the poison is going to take him out. So he withdraws, though. And, while he withdraws, I do believe I go for another Poison Jab, because I kind of wanted to see, or Sucker Punch actually, but either way, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because Klefki did not go for an attack, or Politoed did not go for attack. Instead, he just switches out and into Klefki. And so, while Klefki does get the HP recovery, I'm just kind of sitting here, kind of trying to predict his next move, trying to decide what I need to do next. And so he does use Reflect, which is a huge problem for me because that Reflect will just boost his team's defense, and that's not what I want at all. As you can see, the Drain Punch doesn't do anything. Now, I didn't think, well, I guess he is Fairy, and so he does resist fighting, I believe. I could be wrong, but either way, I mean, it doesn't do too much. He does get the Leech Seed recovery, and I kind of wanted to do something to this Klefki. I kind of wanted to try and take it out in one hit or something. And so while he does get burned from, well, his burn, clearly, he goes for the Thunder Wave. And it's smart that he didn't go for this to begin with, because I knew that this Klefki knew T-Wave. I knew that. But because he decided to use Reflect and or Light Screen to begin with, I didn't think he had T-Wave on him, but that was my own fault. I mean, that is a great move to have on Klefki, but Klefki does get the Leech Seed recovery while he gets the burn as well. And so I'm just kind of deciding, you know, while his team's defense is pretty much like through the roof, I go into my Electros to try and burn him, well, not really burn him again, but try and take him down with my Flamethrower. And so he does get the burn off, while I also get my own burn off. Now, I'm just kind of thinking, you know, well, I don't really know what I can do at this point, because he does withdraw into his Rotom, and stupid me, I go for my Flamethrower. I do not predict well at all, but the Flamethrower does a decent amount. It does bring him down to a certain point that I wanted him at. And so he does get some recovery from lefties while I get my burn off. I want to preserve my Electros, so I decide to switch him out into my Toxicroak, because I know my Toxicroak can take any hit that this Rotom can throw at me. As you can see, he does go for the Dark Pulse. It doesn't do too much to me at all. That's why I'm so glad I brought my Toxicroak, because my Toxicroak, like I said, can just take any hit. pretty much. And so I do get the Black Sludge recovery, and he decides to use for the Will-O-Wisp, and luckily it misses. I mean, I'm not really sure why he wanted to go for the Will-O-Wisp anyways. I'm already paralyzed, so it really wouldn't have worked, I don't think. But he does get the Lefty's recovery. I kind of wish I had a Pokemon with knockoff, because then I could just knock off his leftovers. But I do get the Black Sludge recovery while he does hit me with a Hydro Pump, but it doesn't do a thing because I am dry skin. So Rotom, thank you for that. It just heals me more. So I do go for the Sucker Punch, and it takes this Rotom, well, almost just takes this Rotom out. But I do get the poison off, which is always good for me because this Rotom is just causing too many problems for me at this point. And so while he does get hurt from the poison, he is close enough where I can just take him out in one hit, but he decides to switch out and use his Volt Switch. Now this move does a decent amount to me, and I kind of need to just be wary of that because it can do a decent amount. Now he goes into his own Toxicroak, and so at this point I'm just really happy because Toxicroak versus Toxicroak, that's gonna be a great battle. I wanted him to face. I wanted it to be Toxicroak versus Toxicroak at some point, so I'm just so happy that he decided to switch into his Toxicroak. So, but because some of my moves aren't going to really do too much, I decided to switch out. Now, I go into my Garchomp because either way, whatever move he decides to use, he will get the Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin HP loss there. And even though it doesn't really do too much to the Toxicroak, I am still glad that I got some damage off. I mean, even though his HP does restore because of the Black Sludge, and my HP is pretty low at this point, I'm just kind of thinking, you know, alright, well, I do have Earthquake, I do have my Dragon move there, and so he goes out into his Ferrothorn, and I do go for my Earthquake. Now, typically, this would do a whole lot more to the Ferrothorn if the Reflect or Light Screen, whatever, was not up from the Klefki. So I go into my Togekiss, because my Togekiss does know Air Slash, and Ferrothorn, I believe, is weak to flying, I believe. But either way, it would get flinched if I hit the Air Slash. But he does get the Leech Seed up on my Togekiss. Now, this causes problems. This causes problems because he will regain HP. That's exactly why he brought his Ferrothorn in, just to get that Leech Seed off. And so he goes out into his Toxicroak, and so I decide to use my Air Slash, and I take this Toxicroak out. Now, if it didn't take the Toxicroak out, I was hoping that I would get the flinch off. Now, it doesn't really matter at this point because I did take him out, but he would have taken my Togekiss out with like a Poison Jab or Sludge Bomb or something. So he does go into his Manectric, his Mega Man. He gets the Intimidate off, so now my attacks aren't going to really do anything. So I decided to switch out. At this point, I'm just kind of thinking, you know, I need to Earthquake this guy. So I go into my Golurk because my Golurk does know Earthquake. Now he does throw a Discharge at me, but it does not affect me because I am part ground. Now, Manectric does go into the does use Overheat. Now, luckily, it does leave me with 73 HP, so I am able to hit him with something. So I go for my Earthquake and take his Mega Man out. Now, I am applauding myself for that because I needed to take him out because, as you can see, that Mega Man was doing more than what I wanted him to do. So he goes out to a Ferrothorn, probably going for the Leech Seed. And so I decided to switch out, though, because I don't really want my Golurk to have any Grass-type moves hitting him. So he decides to Leech Seed my Togekiss, which is whatever. I can't really take this Ferrothorn out right now because of the Reflect and whatever else Klefki decided to do. Late Screen, I think. So he does decide to go to Leech Seed, and I do get the Leech Seed hit while he does get the Leech Seed recovery. So at this point, he does withdraw into his Klefki. Now, the rate that Klefki is in, I'm thinking, you know, I could probably take this Klefki out, if not bring him down into a decent amount. So that's exactly what I did. I used my Air Slash to try and take the Klefki out with one hit, but unfortunately it didn't work, only because of, well, one of Klefki's bulk, and two, I hadn't really seen if Reflect vanished or not, but the Klefki does get some recovery while it does get hurt from the burn. and so he does T-Wave my Togekiss. Now, unfortunately, that's not what I wanted to happen. My Togekiss is a pretty fast Pokemon, so right now, he is not able to move because of the Para Hacks. Now, I'm kind of thinking, what should I do? What should I do? How can I take this Klefki out? While he does get the Leech Seed recovery, I'm just kind of thinking, you know, well, who do I have left on my team? Who do I have? What can I do? So while he does get hurt from the burn, he does end up using the Reflect once again, and that's not good for me because it does boost his team's attack. Now, I do go for the Air Slash, trying to get the flinch, and it just barely almost takes the Klefki out. And while this happens, I'm like, what is going on? Like, how? I need to take this Klefki out. I need to take this Ferrothorn out. And I can't take the Ferrothorn out while the Klefki is still here. So, I'm just kind of getting a little annoyed. Now, he goes for the Play Rough. It doesn't really do anything to my Togekiss. My Togekiss is incredibly bulky. I go for the Air Slash and finally take this Klefki out. And so, while I take the Klefki out, I'm just super happy because this Klefki was just causing so many problems for me. That Klefki was boosting his team's attack so much. So he goes out into his Ferrothorn, and I'm thinking, you know, well, at this point, I can hit him with an Air Slash. He goes for the Gyro Ball. It doesn't do too much to my Togekiss at all, because like I had said, my Togekiss is incredibly bulky. I do believe all Togekisses are incredibly bulky, but I go for the Air Slash because I wanted to, I don't know, I want to get the flinch. Come on. Can you just give me a flinch? But Ferrothorn says no. And so, at this point, I'm just kind of getting annoyed because it's like, what can I do to take this freaking Ferrothorn out? I can't do anything, it seems like. So I go out to my Toxicroak because my Toxicroak does know Drain Punch. Now, even though his Ferrothorn does go for a Gyro Ball, my Toxicroak can handle that like a champ. I mean, look at that. It does not do a thing to it. And so I do get the Black Sludge recovery while he does withdraw. I mean, that's all he is doing. He's just withdrawing his Ferrothorn. Leech Seed, withdraw. And that's perfectly fine. That's a great way to use it. So I go into the Drain Punch and destroy his Rotom, just take him out. I'm perfectly happy. I'm perfectly glad that I was able to take that Rotom out. Because that Rotom would have maybe caused a little bit more problems for me. So I'm just super happy that I was able to take him out right then. So it goes on to his Politoed, and that's perfectly fine because the Politoed does know a Drizzle, and that will give me more HP back. Not that I really need it, because I'm already at 143 out of 190, but either way, you know, any HP works. He decides to hit me with his Ice Beam, and, I mean, it doesn't do too much, but I go for my Poison Jab, because my Poison Jab does do more than that Ice Beam can. So while his Politoed is living with just a hair, I do get my HP back with Black Sludge and with the Dry Skin. But because Politoed is poison, he does get taken out with a poison. And so I'm happy that I was able to take him out because he just has a Ferrothorn and somebody else I think left. And so he ends up going for the Leech Seed, and I miss it. But I do get the Para Hacks right there. Not that it really matters because my HP is pretty full anyways. I do get the HP recovery from Black Sludge and from Dry Skin. So he ends up using Leech Seed again because, well, I mean, that's all he's been doing. Gyro Ball, Leech Seed, switch out. So I end up using the Drain Punch just to kind of get this Ferrothorn lower in his health. So I do get some HP back, but at this rate, there's really not much I can really do because I get hurt with the Iron Barbs, which is a magnificent ability. An ability to have on Ferrothorn. So I get the Dry Skin recovery and the Black Sludge. So I just kind of wanted to, I don't know, just bring this Ferrothorn's health down more. But unfortunately, because of the Leech Seed, he does get some HP back. Luckily for me, the Reflect does wear off. So I'm able to switch out and go for my Electros. Now, at this point, I'm just kind of thinking I want to hit him with my Flamethrower. He does hit me with a Gyro Ball, and it doesn't do too much to me, but I am burned. So that's not good at all, because it brings me down to 2 HP. So I use my Flamethrower to try and take this thing out, because I refuse to lose to a Ferrothorn. So he does hit me with the Gyro Ball, it takes me out, but in that process, I am able to bring Ferrothorn down to a point where I can defeat him. So I go into my Toxicroak, just trying to maybe just use my my Drain Punch. So he does go for the Leech Seed, which is still a good thing for him to use. I do get the Parahex, and like I can't move. So what can I do now? So I do get all this health back, which is good, but I am still paralyzed. I can't really do much. So I think this happens maybe like a couple of times because I refuse to kind of switch out. I'm not really sure what I was thinking, but he just hit me with a Gyro Ball. It doesn't do anything to me. Yeah, as you can see right there, I can't move again because of the paralyzation. So at this point, I'm just kind of thinking, you know, should I stay in or should I withdraw? I know my Toxicroak can just get more damage off on Ferrothorn with Drain Punch, even though he does know Iron Barbs. Now, he does go into the Stealth Rock, which is an amazing play by him. So I was actually talking to this guy on Facebook, and he thought that he was going to lose and everything, and I said, well, you can still win. So at that point, he ends up throwing out his Stealth Rocks, and he does hit me with the Leech Seed again. And so while he does get the Leech Seed recovery, I do switch out because I don't want to just stay in and not have my Toxicroak be able to fight because of the paralyzation. So I go into my Iron Giant, my Golurk. Now he does get hurt from the stones, but luckily for me that doesn't really matter. Now he goes for the spikes, and that doesn't really matter either because I do decide to go to my Drain Punch. Now because of my ability, I am able to take the Ferrothorn out in one hit right there. And so my ability on Golurk is Iron Fist, I do believe. But as you can see, I get hurt with the Iron Barbs and the Rocky Helmet, which is just like having a Rocky Helmet on a rough skin Garchomp. But that was an amazing battle. This was a really long battle. I hope you guys didn't fall asleep through it. I know that it was hard for me not to while I was trying to take out that Ferrothorn, but I'm not going to have you guys just sit around right now. I'm just gonna kind of end this and make it quick because this is a long battle, and I'm so glad that you guys were able to stick through it because I thought I was gonna lose to the Ferrothorn. Luckily, I didn't. I was able to win thanks to my Iron Fist Golurk. So, don't forget to RCS, guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Take care.